everybody, and welcome to William the Sound Guy video number 4. Today's subject, guitar players. I have a long history of playing the guitar. I started when I was age 9. I played in the 70s in a band called Backstreet. I was the lead guitar player for a classic rock cover band. As I said in my other video, back then we called it Top 40, not classic rock. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a story. And there's a meaning behind the story, so just relax, listen to the story, and we'll get to the point in a bit. I was born in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Windsor is a small border town just south of Detroit, Michigan. Sounds kind of weird, but it's south of Detroit. In my teenage years, my friend Remy wanted to buy a used guitar. So we went to a guy's house that was selling a used white Fender Stratocaster. We didn't know the guy, never been to the house before. And as we walked in and looked around, we noticed pictures of him on the wall. The guy's name was Joe Conis. So here's the first picture that I saw. Here's Joe Conis on stage in a small pub in 1969 in London, England. But that's not the entire picture. Let me show you the entire picture. That's right. He's on stage with the legendary Jimi Hendrix. How cool is that? Joe Conis and Jimi Hendrix on stage. So that was 1969, and I found out later that Joe Conis was actually the lead guitar player for a popular English band called The Gods. After Joe left England, the members of the band went on to form Uriah Heep. Another thing that we noticed in Joe's house is in the corner of a room was a huge Marshall stack. In the 70s, that's what was expected from guitar players. Huge amplifier stacks, not only for sound, but for looks. Then I left not only Windsor, I left the country, and I was in the United States for a number of years. That was about 1978. In 1990, I came back to Windsor, Ontario. Eventually, I wanted to check out my old friend, Joe. I found out he was playing at a local bar with his new band called Legacy. So I got to the bar and I sat down and I looked up at the stage. Where's Joe's Marshall stack? Nowhere to be found. There wasn't any large amplifiers on stage, as a matter of fact. So I thought, maybe I've got the wrong night or the wrong place. But then I saw Joe talking to some people over in the corner. So now I got the right place. So I didn't see a stack amplifier on stage, but what I did see was something like this. I saw a small single speaker trainer amplifier on a bar chair that was mic'd. So I thought, is Joe being lazy? He just doesn't want to drag this big amp around. What kind of sound is he going to get from this little amplifier with a microphone on it? Well, the sound was amazing. This is the first time that I really realized that you can get a good sound if you get a good sounding amp, preferably a tube amp, and mic it and put it through a PA. So here's the point of that entire story. I learned back then, around 1990, that you don't need a huge amplifier to perform on stage. As a matter of fact, it's a detriment. It impedes the sound of the band. If you're playing a live event outside, where there's plenty of room on stage, etc., maybe you can get away with a 412 speaker cabinet or bigger. But in a bar, on a stage, small stage, less is better. Here's the key. The PA is everything. And I'm going to say that again on many videos. The PA is everything. If you have a decent PA, the PA mixer and the speakers and a couple good monitors, that's the most important thing to your sound. Then you could mic your small guitar amps and it will sound amazing through the front show, the front of house. That's the way to sound good and sound professional. Yet, time and time again, I still run into bands that the rhythm player and the lead player both have a huge 412 speaker cabinet on stage using up all the room, and their sound is just overdriving everything. And the thing about these big amps is you can't just turn them down, because you got to get that interaction. You got to get that crunch between the guitar and the amplifier, the feedback, the sustain. You got to have that sound. And you can't do that if your volume is really low. So with a small amplifier, a small like combo, single 12, tube amplifier, put it up high so you can hear it. Don't have it on the floor. That's another mistake. Get it off the floor. Get it up on a chair or a proper stand. Get it up so you can hear it, and it's right behind you. So you could turn around and interact with that amp, but not be so loud as to drive everybody crazy on stage. And when you mic that amp, you could use like a Shure 57 on a little tripod. There's a better way. I much prefer the Sennheiser 609. They also have a 906. And it's much easier to use. You just hang it in front of the amplifier, no stand required. Keeping in mind that if you go towards the outside of the cone of the speaker, you'll get a bassier sound. And as you go toward the center of the cone, you get a more trebler sound. You'll have to experiment to see what sounds best. Now, should you use a DI box for a guitar player? Well, in my opinion, absolutely not, especially for a lead guitar player. I want to capture the sound of the amplifier speakers as well as the guitar. Mic it, get it through the PA. If you have a crappy PA, it's time to move on. And that's how you mix a good sound for the guitar player. Now, when I run into guitar players where the little amp just isn't enough for them, that's okay. I put a big 1300 watt monitor right in front of them, facing them. And then I tell them, you just tell me, guitar up. I'll give you as much guitar as you want in your monitor, facing you, not the audience. So now the guitar player's got that sound he wants. He's in heaven with the sound coming from his amp and the monitor. He's all happy. But I've got better control of his volume and his sound through the mains. So, if you're a band and your guitar player still use 412 speaker cabinets and don't mic them, let's get them up to snuff. Well, have them watch this video. And somebody should have a wireless, whether it's the bass player or the guitar player or more than one, so you can get out there in the audience, turn around and listen. Listen to what's going on. Listen to your lead. Listen to your rhythm sounds. Find out how you sound to the audience. So many times they miss out knowing what the audience is really hearing. Mic it and put it through the PAs. Joe Konis taught me that in 1990, and here we are in 2018, and we still have people using big amps on stage. That's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me comments. I will write back. And check out my Facebook page, William the Sound Guy. We'll catch you in the next video.